Hello, welcome to Driven It Reviews. I am following up my Voltanic 160 watt solar panel kit quite early because we just had that heat wave. Not that you would now believe that we had a heat wave in May, and I put it to the test and really put it to the test. And I'm going to tell you how it went after this. Before I carry on, let me just hit on something. This purchase that I made was a purchase that I made. This is not sponsored by Voltanic at all. So anything I say here is from me as a user and the experience that I gained. Now, we had rather lovely hot weather. I think at one point it hit 30 degrees, yeah. And I thought, what a lovely time to test this kit. Did I have any problems? Well, yeah, there were a few problems. For something that is as simple as this, and it should be really plug and play, there were some problems. However, we'll get onto those problems because, yeah, it's me. But let me just tell you what I've got. So for £210, you get a solar panel, an MPPT unit and wire, and so much wire. I mean, more wire than you actually realise you need. When you open out the kit, you go, this isn't enough. Yeah, it really is. It's too much. But you can never have too much wire. So there we go. That is it. How did the install go? Piece of cake. Really did go a piece of cake. I overthought some things, which is why my total outlay, instead of being £210, comes in at about 250 quid. We'll touch on a bit of this cost at the end. Not the extra bits I bought, but the value for money. Now, I'm doing this slightly all over the place because I need to get this bit out of the way first. Do I recommend it? Well, my own personal recommendations will come at the end because you see I slightly shot myself in the foot when I did the install and said, yes, I do recommend it. Having used it, I'll come back to that. However, just for you as a consumer, here are your three scenarios. If you have a camper van that doesn't have anything that draws power, so if all you're using is your radio and lights, and you use your van for what, a weekend, I don't recommend it. It's pointless. You will waste your money. However, if you do have something that draws a bit of power, then you might want to consider it, like my fridge. And we'll go on to the power draw of certain things a bit later, because this is where I had a few of the issues. But yeah, if you've got things that draw power, then yeah, you might want to consider it. However, there's something that happened that I think is a fault, but it's not a fault, but it is a fault, but it's not a fault. And I'll come on to that. And then you have to look at your other things. So if you use your van with the power draw and you use it for one night every so often, then no, that there I don't recommend, because your leisure battery will power up all that you need, certainly for one night. My setup here will last 1 and a bit nights because there is an issue that I've got I'll come on to. But also you have to consider, when you go away, do you use hookup? If you use hookup for the majority of the time that you go away, then again, you don't need solar panels, because your hookup, and under my utility coupler I have a battery charger, and the battery charger charges up my leisure battery, keeps everything topped up, and then I've also got 240 volt for 240 volt things like a heated blanket. Yeah, honestly, even in summer, heated blankets, oh, lovely. So yeah, those are the recommendations. However, I've got two lots of friends I go with. Some I go away and we go hook up, some I go away with and they have pretty much the other lot that are always pretty much on not hook up. They do use solar, and yes, so I'm at the moment 50-50. Now this does slightly change as we go further into this review, but there's a few things I'm going to touch on about what I discovered next. One other thing, I can't actually find my notes that I wrote, but they talk about the heat that comes in through a solar panel, and at some point you put your hand on it and you go, oh bloody hell, that's hot. About 64 or 68 degrees it got in the height of that heat wave that we had in May. And with my laser temperature, that's how I knew it was about 64 to 68. Underneath the pop top where the solar panel is, again, it was still about 64, 68 degrees. To the sides, on the white parts of my roof, it was about, I think, 28 to 30 to the touch. So big difference, and a big difference. I mean, 30 odd degrees is quite a lot, but you can just tell the difference. Now, thankfully, you have to bear in mind that if you do have a solar panel on the roof of your vehicle, do insulate it if you can, because if not, you've got that heat just blasting through like a storage heater. Thankfully, my pop top does come with a big amount of vents at the front and the sides, and I've got the sunroof, so any heat up there, I can dissipate it and it can all bugger off. But yeah, it did get hot. Did the 2 mil spacers between the roof and the panel make any difference? I really don't know. I could not tell you if they made any difference. People say they do, some people say they don't. I've got them, that's it, job done. So there is that. Now we come to the bit where I tell you, were there any problems? Well, yeah, there were a few problems. One of the things I was not really keen on was the unit being permanently live when I'm not in the van. Now, having done the install, I pushed Barry away, left him for about 3 days, because I came back in on a Wednesday because I bought some bits from NLAVW to remove my table, so I can move my table leg in different places around the van. They must think I'm a lunatic. It's like I have 4 different brackets for the table, but anyway, there we go. And when I came in, the MPPT was going beep, 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 and it was really, really annoying when I'm trying to work, and I disconnected the power, and it took a little bit of time for it to switch off. And I went, oh bugger, it's got power draw. And the battery had become less than 20%. And I contacted Voltanic, and they were like, well, you don't really need to put a switch in, blah, blah, blah. But I thought, no, I want to put a switch in. So that week in my head, I was working out, yes, I've got it. Big relay that I use for my split chargers, a little fancy switch. And I'll tell you now the switch I bought, because I've got underneath my rock and roll, I can't find it. I've got a lot of switches that are illuminated. So I've got blue for the fridge, red for the charger, orange for the heater. And I thought, well, green energy, right? I know, wanker. However, didn't need it. I got my amp meter out and I thought, how much is this drawing when not in use? Now, one thing I have done, I fitted a trip switch to the solar panel to the MPPT. You don't need to do that. This is why some of my costings went from 210 up to 250 quid, because there was other bits that I bought just because. And so we tested it, and it was drawing 0.01 of an amp when not in use, which is absolutely negligible, when my stereo, I believe on standby, was drawing 0.44 of an amp when on standby. So yeah, and just to show you, when the fridge is running, it's drawing 2.8 amp. So it just shows you, when it's not in use, it's not drawing anything at all. And actually, funny enough, we've pushed it in the garage where he has been all week, and it hasn't gone flat. So yeah, what was the error? Well, it wasn't the unit, it was me. Because I left my inverter on, and because I left the inverter on, it drained the battery. Now, here comes another problem that's not a problem, but it is a problem, but it's not a problem, but it is a problem. My leisure battery is not good, and it really isn't good. And I go through a leisure battery about every 4 years. This solar panel is phenomenal. I tell you now, I'm really, really impressed. The fridge I cranked up. I usually put it on about 2.5. I had it on 4. Don't mean to go more than 2.5, and I tell you why. Because of how it's designed, any drinks that sit against the cold plate will freeze up. And I had half a bottle of Pepsi in the freezer, on the fridge, and it turned into a freezer. It froze. Now my drink was sitting in the far corner of the fridge, it didn't freeze. But yeah, it's that efficient and that cold that it will freeze drinks. It's fantastic. However, sometimes you freeze chicken and you go, I can't cook frozen chicken, you have to leave it out to defrost. So yeah, now over the course of 8 days with a knackered battery but running on solar, how did it perform? Faultless. It was absolutely faultless. The app was telling me that it charged up the battery once every day, but in the morning when I checked, it would really take a battering. But my leisure battery is not good. but it did not let me down. This fridge constantly stayed cold, constantly stayed on. That panel kept everything topped up. Now, I'm quite sure that when the weather is cooler, the fridge will not be working overtime, and I will not be having it on 4. I will be having it on my usual 2.5. So it will equal itself out even on a greyish day, because even on a greyish day, there is still a lot of power that comes off that panel, goes into the battery, that you can tell through the app. Now, it's the app that I've really got a problem with, because it is rubbish. It's not very good. Yes, you can mess around with some of the parameters and some of the settings through the app, which is quite nice, but you look at the App Store and read some of the reviews, yeah, it's not good. And I've had problems where I've been trying to talk to the app and the app won't connect with my phone, and the only way to make it connect is to actually reboot my phone. So yeah, Voltanic, that's the one real criticism I have of it, because to be honest with you, it's been quite faultless. Now we come to cost. You see, £210 is pretty much all you need to spend, and that is literally out the box. It's plug and play, job done. Yeah, it has cost me more, as I've said, because there's certain things I don't like and certain things how I wanted my install to be. So for £210, it's plug and play and it's perfect. But to get your money back, and this comes back to something I said earlier on, is do I recommend it? Well, it depends on your setup. You see, if I'm going through a leisure battery every 4 years, and they're about 70 odd quid, well, that's £280 in 16 years. So this thing is going to pay for itself roughly in about 16 years. However, the roof panel, I think, is £145 replacement. And they recommend that those solar panels will last about 5 years. I reckon we'll get longer out of that on Barry, because he spends most of his time in the garage. So yeah, is it going to pay for itself? Well, probably not in my lifetime, to be honest with you, and it probably really won't. I will probably be stone cold dead before I get my money's worth. However, the fact it disguises a leisure battery means that my leisure battery that I kill within 4 years, I might not actually now kill within 4 years, because this here will keep that topped up. Leisure batteries get annihilated when they run flat. But if that is constantly charging it up, what am I going to get out of a leisure battery? A lot more than 4 years. So yeah, there's a lot of disparities, but yeah, I still think I'll be stone cold dead by the time this thing pays for itself. But now it comes down to the thing, do I recommend it for me? Ooh. I'm still deep in thought about this. Give me a moment. So now we come to the 16mm question. No, you haven't heard that wrong. I did say 16mm because it's the tiniest question with the longest answer. Because even as I do this now and having used it, I still am yes and no in my response to do I recommend you do this. Now, it goes back to the thing that I said earlier on, where look at your own setup, because if you do X, Y, and Z, it probably really won't be worth your while. I go on grid, I go off grid. I go off grid not really for long, but it is nice to know that I can. And it is nice to know that this thing, in theory, actually, now thinking about it, will keep my leisure battery topped up and it won't get so kicked in every 4 years. So I should probably get a few more years out of the leisure battery. And as I've said previously, I will be stone cold dead before this thing pays for itself. But out of the box, ignoring all the extra bits that I've paid, it's £210, which is incredibly cheap. And it's peace of mind. And it is peace of mind because now I can put things in the fridge, and even if I want to crank it up now a little bit higher, because I think, oh, I don't think it's cold enough, I'll crank that up, I can. I'm not like, oh, I've got to be careful. So yeah, I'm still 50-50. I'm glad I've done it. I'm not regretting that I've done it. I'm not regretting that I've paid £210 plus extras to do it, because it is nice to be able to go off grid as and when I want to. So yeah, it all depends on your setup. So I can't really tell you whether you should do it or whether you shouldn't do it. But I'm glad I did it, but I'm still umming and ahhing. So let me see, on a scale of 1 to 10, the fact it keeps my batteries topped up, and it really did do incredibly well on that hot day, 10, do I recommend I did it? probably about a 6. So put those together, probably 8 out of 10. So it's still high. So yeah, so Voltanic, I think you've got it pretty much sussed. Just sort the app out. The app is probably the worst thing of this whole thing because it is a bit hit and miss and a bit crap. But other than that, yeah, still 8 out of 10. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with because I've done this piece, I can tell you, about 4 times because I'm still unsure. But yeah, 8 out of 10. Yeah, I'm happy I've done it. There we go. End of. I will say no more on it until it goes wrong. Or it doesn't go wrong. It won't go wrong. It's so simple. And to be honest with you, it's so cheap. Take it out, put a new one in. I know. See what I mean? 16mm question. Huge answer. Anyway, mind you go. Take care. See you soon.